Yes, Your Honor, if it's okay with you, speaking with Councilor Coley, he wanted to have some discussion on RTMP funds, so we could put that on 6.3, if that's okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Anything else? Alrighty, consent agenda. Oh, addition, issues with that. I had some questions about that personally, but go ahead if there's anybody else.
Question number one.
On the consent agenda, on the minutes actually, because that's all that's on the consent agenda. And I don't know if Christina got her answer last month or not on littering. One of the suggestions was to put up signs showing the fines for littering, but I don't know if we pursued.
No, we have not.
Yeah, I didn't pursue it either because I forgot about it.
So littering, signs.
Bottom of page 3, last line. It's not a surety, it's surety, period.
And Your Honor, could you scratch off the police chief who was not here last meeting?
And maybe we can talk about this during discussion of junk amnesty. I don't know as I got clarification yet on the costs, so we can talk about that. Or we are talking about that tonight.
Yes.
Other than that, I don't have anything. Does anybody else have anything on the minutes?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the minutes with the corrections.
Moved by Councilor Clark, seconded by Councilor Baszler, to approve the minutes as corrected. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote.
Mayor Short.
Aye.
Councilor Baszler.
Aye.
Councilor Cody.
Aye.
Councilor Fortune.
Aye.
Councilor Clark. Aye. Councilor Biggerstaff.
Aye. Carries. Alrighty, moving right along. Administrative Services 6.1, City Administrative Report.
All right. I like starting with A. On the Atherton property, the city attorney has filed the documents in court. It's actually filed. It's rolling. And the auction date should be August the 14th, 2013 is when the auction should take place. So it's rolling forward, and they're doing the publications, putting out the publications to let these folks know that we're doing this, because we can't find them. So, well, I'm sure. Anyway, so that's rolling forward, and by August, the building should be ours again, or someone will pay more than what's owed to us. On the surety bond, I got a letter back from them. Haven't responded yet. If any of the counselors would like to stop by, I can read the letter before I respond. What it is, it's the Mr. Zimmerman's response back to my last letter. So I got it earlier this week. I just hadn't had a chance to get it out to you guys. So, let's see here. One of the items that you have in front of you, and I think we'll probably pick that up under old business, is a copy of the a 1213 TRT agreement. So I think we picked that up during the old business. The DQ grant for the PCBs, okay, it's pending. It's gone to EPA. Has not been approved yet. We feel it will be approved to do the testing for the PCBs, but it's still pending at this point. Strategic plan dates. I got a call from the facilitator, and he would like to come to Oakridge on the 27th or the 28th to do the initial planning meeting with staff and council. Either of those dates okay with y'all? If not, I can get back with
this month. April 27th?
Yeah. No, March 27th or March 28th. Yes, next week. Because they want to start your strategic planning process in April. So this is the planning meeting.
What time is it?
And he said it would take 3 to 4 hours, so that's what, I was gonna leave that up to y'all on the time.
During the day or in the evening?
He'll come anytime we ask him to, so whatever is good for you guys.
Because I can't do during the day.
The 28th is a Thursday.
Thursday I can't, yes, but the 27th during the day.
I could do the 27th.
I can do either in the evening.
I can do either of them.
Okay,
So
well,
I'm
as long,
supposed to be leaving town
If
Wednesday.
you're gonna do it on the 27th, I recommend you do it after, or by around 6 or, what time you get out of work?
I could do 6.
How about 5?
I can't do 5.
How about 5:30?
I can't do 5:30.
so then we need to just be prepared that it's gonna be at least till 9,
Be a long meeting.
9, latest 10.
27th, 6 o'clock. Sound all right?
That's you choose, Stan.
What time does it start for you?
6.
Yeah.
Have Michael here. So 27?
6 o'clock.
Okay, I will shoot him an email.
That's yours?
Yes, that'll be, yeah, in here. Okay, where am I at? Let's see. Thank you. Concert in the Parks has offered, that group has offered to do maintenance on the amphitheater for us, okay? And I think that Jackie get hold of him, I'll let you know.
Well, I got an email from John Riparian saying, and he responded back to the person individual, because that is something that is on the park's plan as far as a project that we're going to be doing. And we talked, I think you and I briefly, about some RTMP money to rent the equipment with. And
TRT.
Okay, TRT. And I think I can get them. A year ago, Home Depot was willing to donate materials. I just got to go through the process of initiating them again. I looked at the pricing the other day. I know what I need to do it, and it was something we thought about. We're going to need a scissor lift or a snorkel lift of some sort. We're going to need a power washer, which John said he had, and then be able to go in. And then once it's done, then the maintenance of it is great. So right now, to go in at this amphitheater, it needs to be water blasted, it needs to be cleaned, it needs to be restained.
Yes.
Well, that's more than some volunteers can do. I mean, we can do it as a group,
That's what I'm about.
but we need some professionals involved in that. And so he had sent that email to whoever it was that in the process to just let them know that this is in process. We appreciate their help.
So a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent. So anyway, once y'all can cost out, I just need to know how much is the rental of a scissor.
Probably looking around $300.
Okay, well, just let me know. Yeah, we can do that. I believe we can do that very easily. I just need to be letting me know.
Well, I just figured, it was something that we could do through the room tax money, whichever form it comes through, but it was something we could do because it is increasing. It is going towards tourism.
It's tourism.
It's tourism based, so.
Excellent. Let's see, what else? Okay, so that's Parks Trails, right?
Right. And I can forward you that email tomorrow,
Okay.
so you can see it that he wrote.
Let's see here. Part of the blank page, the water bill is, as I told you, I'm going to try and get a newsletter going again. So I think if it is okay to allow like advertisements and those kind of things, I think that's okay too. But I'll check and make sure that that's okay. But I also want to work back towards a newsletter. Hopefully, after all these budget processes that we're going to be going through, again, I'll be able to put some more time into it. Let's see here. Jackie and I are working with U of O, it's a water quality group, and basically, they're working more from a riparian zone ordinance is what it's more about than your normal either sewer plant kind of stuff or water wells. It's primarily, I'm gonna have to get with the owners that abut the river, okay? And they're trying to establish a riparian zone so that they can put in trees, brush, those kind of things to try and cool the river. This is something that came down from DEQ. I'm not gonna, this is
You're
not.
talking middle floor?
Yeah, yes, and part of Salmon Creek, yeah. Parts of Salmon Creek also. And,
So the stormwater can come through and wash them all away again? And wash out our levee again?
yeah, and we told them that, so. Anyway, that's what we're working on, and I had asked, Les if he would, work with me on that. I didn't think we needed everybody, you know. So Les said he would work with me on that, and then I'm gonna try and talk to some of the owners that will be affected, to bring some of them onto this committee, okay, because they're gonna be very vocal.
Did you get the definition of riparian for me?
Yes. Anything along
Basic,
those-
vegetation, trees, brush, anything that would cause some shade.
Oh, wow.
Anything that's within 50 feet. Riparian is anything
The
within
middle
50
fork.
feet of water.
Huh?
The middle fork, the bank of the middle fork, the river,
That's where that bluegrass.
where all those houses are at down on Ferry Glen, Riverview, all those houses are
How
gonna
big a
be.
trees do they think they can get in there?
Pardon?
How big a trees do they think they can get in there?
That I don't
They're not
know.
gonna shade very much water.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if
pays for
anybody's taking the temperature of that river lately, but it's around 50 degrees now. 50, doesn't get much more than about 58 to 60 in the summer. How cold does it have to be?
At that, I don't know, we haven't got that deep into all the
I would ask what the temperature is now if you're gonna shade this stuff.
No, they've been,
Isn't the sun coming from the wrong direction for where we would plant the trees in?
Yeah, I think that's not very good.
Again, we'll work through that with them. I'm still there.
that's doing this?
This is DEQ who is mandating this. However, we're getting assistance through the University of Oregon. A number of master's students are actually doing the project.
Are they paying for it?
Pardon?
Yeah.
Are they paying for it?
Yeah, we're not paying anything on this.
you can
Yeah.
bet your boots DEQ not paying for it.
Pardon? I'm sorry?
I said you can bet your boots that DEQ's not paying for it.
No, not at this time. No.
Well, who's paying for it?
Not us.
Not us.
It's not gonna be
Nobody
us.
yet. They haven't voted.
Well, no, actually, I think DEQ is paying for the.
I think we need to get more information because that's an idiot talking about a project. I'm familiar with riparian stuff.
Well-
Usually it's done on streams that are about 50 feet wide, things like that. It's not done on wide rivers. It's not done, so that we need more information.
Well, we're gonna set up a meeting in April. You're more than welcome to
We'll already have
do it then. Okay. And so, and then I'm gonna, because it also requires code changes, more from the planning commission side. There's my planning commissioners.
Obviously, we need a lot.
So it's.
Hey, you wanted something to do, Jim?
Yeah, I can see that already.
That's right, there's two planning commissioners.
Three.
That's right. So I got, so I'll be contacting some of you all also on this.
We can change the code and you can find them when they don't vote.
Let's see here. Last thing that I have is, as you know, I've been working on a supplemental budget for at least 6 weeks now, and I'm there. So I'll be emailing you all a draft probably tomorrow. Okay, so y'all can take a look at it, and then write your concerns. I mean, within the next few days, and what you like, what you don't like, so we can discuss it. Because after that, then once you all look through that, give me your comments, and at that point, I plan on posting it in the paper and the website, and then, of course, you still got to do a public hearing here before you can pass it. Okay, but and then we have to put a copy out in the front counter for between 5 and 30 days before your public hearing. So, but I need to get this thing done because we're headed into the next budget already. So, but I believe I have a balanced budget. There's like I said, I'm gonna send it to you If you have concerns on on some of the lines that I use, then we can talk about them.
Has the budget committee looked at it and do they?
No, not in the supplemental budget, is not required, unless you all want to bring them on, but
I assume the budget committee is knowledgeable about what is in the budget.
But it's not required to convene the budget committee on a supplemental budget.
But would it be smart to?
Uh,
I don't wanna push the button.
Time-wise, no, because we're gonna be because they'll be jumping right into the 13-14 budget right after this one, and they'll have a copy of this one. So time-wise, no, we don't have, because we don't have time. You're getting ready to jump. What's the date? 21. So I've got to try and have a budget, 13-14 budget, in the hands of the budget committee by the 10th or 11th of April, so that you guys have 10 days at least before the first meeting. So I don't have a lot of time.
The budget committee will be.
Well, they'll get the 13-14, and we can also give them the supplemental one so they can see, because that's what they're going to have to work off. Is off the supplemental one. They'll have to be able to see the supplemental one and compare it to the 13-14. So they will get a copy of the supplemental. Yes. Yeah.
It's really not necessary for the budget committee to have the budget in 2 weeks in advance. Really only needs to be in hand about 3 days in advance, because you're going to go over that with your budget message in your first meeting anyway. So.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh,
don't push yourself into a corner trying to do one in 2 weeks.
Well, I'm going to do it as soon as I get this one done, pumped out. We'll be starting the next one. So, and hopefully next year it'll flow normal like. Okay, because this is all catch up and fix. Is what we're doing right now. So that's all it is catch up and fix, and then we go in 13-14 clean.
I wasn't pointing fingers at you. I swear,
Oh, it's okay.
Carpenter's gonna look at the budget and say, yeah, that's cool.
Now, we'll
Do you have any
A little more
questions?
complicated.
yeah, no,
Ask him.
yeah. So that's all I have. I think I give you guys a lot.
So is the supplemental budget gonna be done and approved before the new budget?
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. That's what we don't have time for the budget committee piece is I'm going to be sending them a copy hopefully tomorrow, give them a few days to look at it, tell me what they don't like, and I'm going to put it on the website and do all the stuff and try to get it. I may even ask for a special meeting. I don't know yet. Or have them approve it on the 4th. But I've got to have it approved, done, and then I can start it the next week. So at the latest, we would be doing public hearing and approving the supplemental budget on the 4th.
Okay, so recorder finance report.
This is a statement of our tax position currently. The Suslo Valley Bank has, after you can see there are some outstanding deposits and some outstanding checks. So the balance in that after that is $638,772.88. The balance in the Safer Grant account is $38,883.02. The ambulance account, $81,974.10. The Sterling, there is no Sterling account. The muni account has been moved over to Sayusla since Sterling is not here. Is $60,396.17 for a total of available cash of $820,026.17. The balance of the LGIP account has not changed because there has been no activity. It still stands at $258,924.40.
Last make money on that?
On the LGIP, yeah, there's a little bit of interest. It's approximately about $100 a month on that, and then there's a $10 to $15 charge that they have on it. It's on the first of each month. That statement that you should attach to when you get it shows you what the interest is and what the charges that come out. We just get a statement from them once a month.
What are we getting, about 10%?
Yeah, pretty standard. Last week I had the opportunity to go to the OMFOA conference that was held on the coast. I had put in for
What is that, so they know?
Oh, The Oregon Municipal Federal Finance Officers Association had put in for a scholarship to attend the spring conference over there, and got that. It was 3 days and a lot of sessions that were really interesting. They touched on a number of things. One of them was PERS and the coming changes in PERS and how some of those changes will be affecting cities and counties. Not exactly good news, but it was interesting. We also had a speaker, David Blitzer, who talked on emergency management. He was part of the recovery team after the Superstorm Sandy had hit down. He had some really interesting observations. It was great. I also attended a session on building a better budget, so as we enter our budget season, there's a little more foundation that I have there. One of the other sessions was healthcare reform is taking off, and the quotation on theirs was fasten your seatbelts, and that was a really good way to put it, because some of the things that are going to be occurring starting in 2014 are going to shake up a lot of people's worlds. Ours, not quite as much, because our health plan should remain fairly consistent, but there's a lot of people out there that are going to be feeling this in not a real positive way. One of the other sessions was internal controls, which was of particular interest to me, because we're trying to develop internal controls here, and they have a lot of practical information on design and implementation of those. One thing I do want to share with you, though, and it's just a couple slides, and Jackie. This is kind of an interesting, I stole this from somebody with their permission. This was put on through was put on by Christian Taylor, who actually works for the state of Oregon. He's an economic guru, I guess you can say. And it's of particular interest right now, is why I'm sharing it with you, is with our strategic plan coming into the meeting stage and everything like that, it's important to understand a few things. These are current. In fact, these numbers came out the day before he presented them to us. This is Oregon employment growth. And as you can see, the darkest line, which is Oregon, and the lighter gray line is the U.S. Not exactly the best of news. This is where it gets interesting. A lot of the impact, or the money, or the growth that is occurring in Oregon is in the Portland, Vancouver, Hillsborough area. If you look at the non-metro Oregon, it's the bottom line. It's not recovering at any kind of a pace. It's been dropping for quite some time. There are some concerns there that we probably need to look at. The next page is on employment growth, and you can see Multnomah County was way ahead of anybody else. Salem lost. Lane had a small growth as in Department of Growth, a percentage of that. The overall consensus here, and what is of interest, that's a really bad one, it's kind of in a bad way, is that a lot of the people are wanting to live in the Portland area. Things are changing economically, and our city and a lot of cities in rural areas have to really be diligent about watching for this. One of the interesting things that's going on in Portland is called a reverse commute, is what they call it. People are living in Portland in apartments and actually taking different alternative transportation to jobs outside the area. There is one apartment building, I think it was about 200 apartments, it was like 5 stories, that was being built without any parking at all. Most of the apartments they had interest in, and the project was put on hold because there was local concern that it would cause issues. What's going on is that a lot of people that are coming in are being brought in from other countries to work in the Portland area. They like to live in Portland because there's a lot to do. Take mass transit out to where they work and come back in. They're not wanting cars. This has an implication all over the state, and it's not just Oregon, but this is what they were focusing on, is that anywhere that you are, you need to take a look at that fact when you start your strategic plans, to acknowledge that there are big changes going on in how people look at things, how they're traveling, and that for us, focusing on one thing is probably not going to help the city move forward. One of the things that I think is a real positive is trying to get the train to stop here again, because that does provide a means of transportation to get here from Portland, Salem, whatever, for people who don't choose to drive, who don't want to drive. It's an option. But we need to realize that getting people here, they're wanting something different. A lot of this, the people that are moving to Portland are younger. Most of the people with 2 to 4 year degrees are going to the bigger cities. That's just a reality. So we need to take a look as we develop that strategic plan and take a look at these facts and make sure that when we go forward and move forward, that we're addressing the changes that other cities are seeing, and make sure that we don't try and put all our eggs in one basket, because it probably won't help us get out of it. That's the bad news on it. Some of these numbers are a little bit scary when you look at the growth that's projected for the Portland area as opposed to the rest of Oregon. And that's where the people, the jobs. I have some other slides and stuff that have to do with the employment rates, that have to do with the incomes in a lot of different areas if you're interested in seeing, and it pulls the picture into a lot more perspective, that it is something that really needs to be considered. And that's what I have.
Any questions? I have one question. Our financial report seems to be thinner every meeting. Is on one page now. What happened to that?
Well, you get your counselor report beginning of the month.
Okay.
I put them all together so you have what went on during the month. At the first of the next month, you get them all.
Yes, you'll get all of March's on your first meeting.
Instead of dividing them up.
And do the budget paper,
There's a certain amount of money that we're supposed to keep in the bank as a guarantee for loans we have out there, you know? True?
The money's in the bank. When you're talking about the financials, you're talking about a payment for the bond.
No, I'm talking about like when for, basically, I guess it's just for collateral for like when we built that building.
There is.
There's
It's
certain
like
amount
it's.
we have to keep in the bank to.
It's
until
equal
that's
to
paid
one
off.
bond. It's equal to one bond payment. Is what it is, and it is there. And it's in a line item in the budget. If you look into the fund that is carrying that bond is in there. That money is in that line item. All the money for all the funds is in one account, but in the accounting system, it's accounted for in all the different funds. That's
But
why.
how much of that after? Sorry to interrupt.
Okay. The one is 122,000, the other is 80,000, but most of that, you could say, is sitting in the LGIP, which is what it was originally for. Some of the monies that were to be held in years past didn't stay quite where they needed to, and that's what we're trying to get those in there and make sure we have those funds, that they're there, that they're not spent, that they're not touched.
So 200,000 of that 258,000 of the LGIP is basically money that has to stay there until we pay off those loans.
If you want the money, if you're saying the money in the LGIP, I'm not sure. There wasn't, to say that money sitting in the LGIP is the dollars that are supposed to be there. There's no way for us to know. It is currently there, so we have the money in reserve, and it is in the line item in the budget, in the system, that money is held in those accounts. So it's whether it sits inside use our LGIP, it's just within the budget and within your expense revenues and expense in the balance sheet. It shows that money has been set aside.
Thank you.
6.3 RTMP funds, Councilor Coy.